Hey there. You know what I know? AI is coming for your coaching career. It may not feel like it, and you may want to pretend that it's not, and you may want to live with your head in the sand, but it really is. And it's in subtle ways. Let me tell you what I mean. So, I just got two ads in the last couple of weeks about services that are going to change my life, fix the world, increase my impact, just do a whole bunch of really cool stuff for me, blow my mind. One was about my books. One, particularly a couple of them. One, Tightrope of Depression and Living with Purpose and Power. And I guess the third one, Meeting God at the Door, was referenced in there. And the ingenuity of the email that I got was really good. So it was obviously written by AI, but I have enough experience with it to see, just to understand the writing of it. And, I used to not know how AI detection tools would work or how they could find things. And now I do because it's easy, becoming really easy for me to spot. Just the style of AI writing is a certain style. And unless you edit it and make it yours, it sounds like AI. It's good writing. Don't get me wrong. It's powerful writing. One of the things I notice is that it's very economical, the fewest words possible, well written, well condensed, all extra words gone. In fact, in sentences where it lists a group of things that you normally separate by a comma, it doesn't even put an and after the last comma. It does that in a lot of places with a lot of grammatical things that are technically incorrect, but you can get by with. Anyway, that isn't really about coaching, but what it does is it wakes me up to this possibility. AI is getting really good. Now, about these two offers I got. One of them was about blowing up my books, particularly a couple of them that I mentioned. And here's how they sold it. They went through telling me, you have been through all these amazing experiences. And I have. But it did it in a way that made it, it's just pumping me up like crazy. Now, we know that all of them, ChatGPT among others, are written, coded to be very affirming, encouraging, powerful, and that sort of thing. And that can be fun to read. And we have to check and see, do a reality check. And that doesn't mean don't listen to positive language, because one of the things I teach, you teach in coaching, if you're a coach, and even if you're not, is the power of positive thinking. There's a book written a long time ago, Power of Positive Thinking. Learned helplessness was a phrase coined by Martin Seligman, who studied positivity. He's got a whole positive psychology coaching program. So all of those things are good, but they have to be authentic, right? And so the thing that I got was really good, really powerful, and pumped me up about all the experiences that I've had, which are all real, and then promised to interview me once a month, take the hour-long interview, cut it up in a million pieces, and put it everywhere in the universe for me. And it's all outsourced and done by bots. Now, I want to ask you a question. Do you believe that just having millions of pieces, literally it would be millions in a few short months, but thousands anyway, of pieces of content out there that all look and feel in the same style, clipped and edited by automation, but done in that style, do you think that's going to really create power for you? The allure is it's going to save you a bunch of time, and everybody in the universe is using this, and so you need to too. There's some fallacy there. Words alone don't create power. If you're a Christian, Jesus somewhere in the New Testament said, he was talking to his followers, disciples or whatever, and he said, the scribes or the Pharisees or one of the Jewish groups, they're all hypocrites. They love to pray in the street corners and the synagogues, and they use something he called vain repetitions. And then he went on to say they think they will be heard, presumably by God, for their much speaking. Well, that's what this flood of content promised by these automated agencies feels like. A flood, an endless flood of stuff, but it's missing soul. Now, there was another offer that I'm not going to go over in as much detail, but it was the same kind of thing. It obviously was powered by AI. Now, I love AI. I love my Chat GPT. Oh, man, I love it. But I don't look at it or look to it for my soul. And here's what I mean by AI is coming for your coaching career. AI is already, if you're using it, and is going to, if you choose to use it, make things faster, easier. It will do research, analysis, synthesis, writing, create frameworks, outlines, really cool language and powerful stuff for you all over the place. And it's going to be soulless because there is nothing in the universe, in the artificial realm, that contains the connective power of the spirit. When you're with somebody, even if there's no talking and there's a connection of minds and heart and spirit, you know that, you feel it, and we cherish that, and we're even losing that. You know, with the advent of cell phones, people stopped talking, and we learned how bad isolation was during COVID and et cetera. And we all know about this, and we talk about it, and then the same thing is here, because the truth of coaching is in the connection. I saw this movie. It was a short clip of a movie, and it was about coaching. High school football team and a coach. You've probably seen it. Coach challenged his players to do better, and then his star player to carry play another player on his back for a certain distance. They call it the dead man crawl or something. And he blindfolded him. And he wouldn't let his player quit till he'd done everything that he could. And then the player thought he'd gone 30 or 40 yards, and he'd gone all the way into the end zone across the field. My point is, and that wasn't the point. The point wasn't the awesome thing that he did. The point was the moment of silence when the kid took off the blindfold. That moment of shared intensity between the coach and the player who had just demonstrated his ability to do something he thought a minute ago, 5 minutes ago, was impossible. Not even the act of demonstration. The moment of connectedness, the moment of realizing viscerally the truth of the stories we carry and the power we truly have, that moment of silence was everything. Everything that happened before that was the setup. And when you think about what is going to remain for me or you, coaches, to do, and every single person, says, I'm not even talking only to coaches. I'm talking to salespeople. I'm talking to relationship counselors. I'm talking to all those people who do anything that has to do with human relationships. And that's almost anyone, customer service people and everything else. The truth and power that we have and need is all and completely in the connective tissue of spirit, the energy exchange between two beings. And with more and more automation and more bots, even if they get good and they're really nice and affirming and kind, and believe me, in writing the book, Coaching and the Rise of AI, it's coming out really quickly in a week, next week. Coaching and the Rise of AI. I'll do some more posts about it and you'll see it. And I've demonstrated in that book why 95% of coaches will be out of business in 14 months by Christmas of 26. So if that's you, pay attention. But even if you're in any service industry, you need to pay attention because you're going to get wiped out, erased, eliminated. Now, there's many who say that the AI replacing boatloads of jobs is a great thing, and I actually agree, because there's tons of activities that we have to do that, do the dishes, clean up things, right? Call, schedule utility pickups, all of those things take a lot of time in our lives, and they aren't productive, except I have to ask myself, why was the world and the setup created so that we had to do all that? I believe because the most important part of our existence here in the world, no matter what age we live in, is our capacity to learn to love and serve. It's our capacity to connect and then use our human and divine connection to add good to the world. And it's as easy for me to add good to the world today as 100 years ago. Yeah, 100 years ago, it took a lot of effort to make breakfast, right? You had to grow the wheat, not at the time, harvest it, grind it, make bread, make pancakes, whatever there was, right? Dinner, you had to go out in the garden and pick stuff. And then now it's easy. It takes just minutes. And so that allows me to have a whole bunch of time to do other things, more important stuff. The most important stuff is your human connection. The most important stuff is loving yourself, loving your God, and then serving. That's it. And even if you're in any service industry, pay attention, because AI is going to replace everything else. So throwing your hands up and say, oh dear, all these people are going to be out of a job, the answer is yes, great. Because that's going to give me and you time to do more connecting, loving, being together. Again, reference to Christianity and the great intercessory prayer. Jesus talked over and over again about being one, unity, being in the disciples and God being in him and being one, unity, over and over and over and over and over again. Well, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the intensity and power of that unity. Okay? And our developing the ability to have and be and do that, that is at the heart of every interaction, every relationship, and every coaching conversation. If it's not, you're done. You're finished. Everything below excellence is going to be out the window. If you disagree, get a hold of me, because I can show you. I can prove it to you. And if you're going to argue with that, you're finished as a coach. If you can hold spirit connection, we sometimes call that holding presence, but holding a spirit connection so deep that the truth explodes out of a client's chest, kind of like that awful scene from Alien years ago in the 70s or 80s or whatever it was, like happened in that movie with the student athlete. Think about that. And don't let your years of training go to waste. And don't let the most important part, which is your connection to yourself, your God, and your clients or your potential clients, sharpen that, develop that. Because otherwise, the AI is going to eliminate all the top 90% of the industry's gone. Don't let that be you.